There's a movie coming out soon, and it's called Argyle. We thought we would review another movie that was directed by our very own Matthew Vaughn, as made famous from his movies like X-Men First Class and Kingsman series. So we thought we would review a movie maybe lesser known to that extent, and that movie is 2007's Stardust. I'm going to give you a quick little rundown of this little movie here for you. You got Dorian Gray. He's just living at this sheltered little life. No one in this city called Wall can go beyond the wall. No one knows why. But one day he does. He betricks a senile old
Yep.
man
Did you
and goes
recognize
behind
that
there. And
senile old man?
I did. Was it? I was thinking Charlie and the
It
Chocolate Factory. Were
was.
you?
That's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
at least. Grandpa or whatever.
That doddering old fool.
Yeah.
Dorian Gray goes behind the wall, finds a whole nother world. It's like a world of magic and fairy tales. But he meets a young lass who just beds him right away.
I know.
Really hops on that like she's never seen a man before. 9 months later, out comes a baby. The woman can't go past the wall into his normal realm, so she drops that baby off. And then 18 years later, out comes our old man, Charlie Cox. He's 18 years old and wants to pursue the heart of a one Victoria. So they're talking, and he said, "I'd do anything for you," and really simping, hardcore. I don't think I've seen this level of simping. As they're talking one night, a star falls down, and he says, I'm gonna go get that star for you." And she said, "Okay, well, I'll go get that for you and make you my wife." And then while that's going on, there's two or three other tandem stories. There's witches who played by Michelle Pfeiffer and others who were not recognizable. Witches who see the star falling and they're after the star because it grants them beauty and life if they eat it. And then in the magical kingdom, there's a king who has 7 sons. They're all kind of waiting for this old man to die so that they can take the place of a king. And as his dying wish, the father has an amulet on his necklace. Normal logics be damned. He throws the stone out the window, and the stone actually flies out and hits the star, and that's what causes the star to fall and fall down to the earth. And the king says whoever catches the stone and brings it back gets to be the king. So all kinds of hijinks ensue. You got Charlie Cox after the star to bring it back to his beloved Victoria, and then he got the witches after the star to eat it and gain beauty and eternal life. And then you have all these different princes after the star to claim their kinghood. So yeah, there's a lot that goes on there. That's just the setup, man.
It's one of those rare movies I told my wife, hey, we're gonna talk about Stardust, and she says, oh, I love that movie. Let's watch it. So we watched it together. It's pretty good watch. I thought it was it's a good film to watch with a significant other, if you will. Is it something I would probably put on myself? Probably not, but it's a nice feel good, kind of a little cheesy, but I like a little cheese here, and
Yeah.
I think it had some pretty funny parts.
It was funnier than I expected, yeah. My wife watched it for the first time. Something she noticed that I didn't notice the first time was my boy Henry Cavill is in there.
Oh, yes.
Patron saint of the podcast, Henry Cavill.
No, I don't even know why she would say that.
You're lying.
I have in my notes here, could have gone my whole life without seeing blonde Henry Cavill.
He looks like if Tom Cruise from Interview with a Vampire had sex with Wesley from Princess Bride and they had a love child. That was kind of how he looks to me.
Yeah, it's very unsettling. I did not enjoy that at all. But it's funny to see just how far we've come. He was a backup, very minor character, but now he's a big old man star. Yeah.
Yeah, this movie had a lot of stars.
Would you classify as star-studded?
I would say. Randomly, you get Ricky Gervais there. You got Henry, as you said.
Peter O'Toole, I recognize his voice only as he's the old king. As he was talking, I was like, I know that voice from somewhere. He's the, what's it called? Ratatouille. You remember?
Oh.
He's the food review critic guy.
Oh, I see.
Going back to, it's funnier than I remember. There's a scene starting off there after the king kind of puts all of his sons on this quest. They're all trying to kill each other, and it's so weird and random. This movie's very unapologetic because during that scene, there were originally 7 brothers, but I think 4 of them died because all the other brothers killed them in nefarious ways. And so you see the ghosts of the other brothers, but they're still how they died. So some of them have like squished faces. Some of them are burned, very, very tongue in cheek there. But there's a scene where one of the brothers congregates with like a priest or something, and he's going to give a toast. And the other 2 brothers come and they all drink. And one of the brothers kind of starts choking and keels over and dies. And then Mark Strong looks at him and he's all, "Did you poison me?" And he chokes and everything, and he's like keeling over and dying. And then
Gotcha. Gotcha.
gets a little chuckle. It's just a joke, just a little trick he played on his brother. I thought it was pretty funny. It was just a little.
That was pretty.
That was pretty good.
Well, I knew he wasn't. I was like, it's Mark Strong. He's not gonna die right here.
Oh yeah,
Also, have you ever seen Mark Strong with hair before? That was
that
my
was
first time
unsettling.
seeing
Yeah,
it.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
Again, I could have gone without seeing blonde Henry, and hair full of Mark Strong. I have a few notes here. They did my boy Charlie Cox wrong, making him look like the biggest square in the whole city. He's got that
Like
virgin poster
ugly
boy.
in the
Yeah,
beginning.
he looks like such a dork,
Yeah.
even though he's really grown into his own as an actor. But this must have been one of his earlier roles because he's a poster boy for virgin, celibacy.
I'm an adult virgin.
Well, I think the plot, when in their defense, let me just defend
Oh yeah,
let me
okay.
defend Matthew
All right.
here. The plot wouldn't make, like, if he's a strapping hot guy, he's not gonna chase after a star to get some girl that doesn't really like him
That's true.
to marry.
That's
him.
true.
Like that's something a virgin, like, this is their one shot here of getting an attractive wife here. Like, they'll go ends of the earth here.
Yeah. When he first runs into the star, he has a wishing candle and it transports him to the star. It's the whole thing. The star is actually a person, by the way, Claire Danes. It's not like a lump of stone or anything because it's a magical fairy tale. Whatever. I don't give a care. Anyway, he runs into her and immediately he's like, "Where's the star? I got to get the star. I got the star." And she's like, "I'm the star, you big dumb idiot." And it doesn't pass his mind that that's a reality. He's just like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll come with me." And he just comes, just wraps her up, ties her up, and says, "Come with me." And she's like, "What the heck?" Like, he doesn't
Yeah.
second guess it at all, even though he's not privy to the magical world on the other side.
Obviously, without her consent, and just like first thing he does, ties a rope, drags her along, and he's gonna give her like a slave, like give her away, like.
Today's subject, slavery.
Yeah, she even is like, "Yeah, that's gonna look real great. You giving me as a gift to another person."
Yeah.
He doesn't think it through. But Chris, I got some trivia for us here about Stardust.
Sure.
So, Ben Barnes, aka Prince Caspian, young Dustin Thorne,
Yeah.
was a fan favorite and preferred choice for Tristan over Charlie Cox, as he was considered more attractive. Matthew Vaughn intentionally cast the then unknown Charlie Cox over big name actors like Orlando Bloom, as he wanted an actor who could play a dork and easily transition into a suave and handsome gentleman. Do you think he achieves that transition?
Well, he does. It starts off Ben Barnes. He's handsome. He's,
He's Dorian Gray.
He's Dorian Gray. He's a very attractive, handsome man. And then, 18 years later, you got this dweeb looking. I'm like,
His real Poindexter.
he looks ugly. Obviously, I already went over the plot. But then Robert De Niro, spoiler, he's a feminine man, most likely a homosexual. He
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Not that there's any. He does a he's all that with
He does do it. He's all that with that.
Charlie Cox at the end. And then he puts on a wig, or how does he make his hair longer? Is he wearing a wig the rest of the time?
There's a cut where Robert De Niro's cutting his hair. It turns to Claire Danes, and it cuts back, and he's got shoulder-length hair.
Yeah.
There's no explanation for it. It
I
comes
thought
out of
it was
nowhere.
a wig, but
No.
he wears it the rest of the, like,
I just chalk it up to it's magic.
all right.
It's one of those
magic.
things where this movie's unapologetic, and it's like, he's got long hair now. Like, we
Yeah.
don't have to explain every
But
little thing.
Once he has the long hair and he's dolled up, he looks attractive. He looks
looks
a lot
good.
like Dorian.
Another trivia here. Robert De Niro accepted the role due to his regret at turning down the role of Barbossa in Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl.
Well,
In an alternate universe, Robert De Niro as Barbossa would have been interesting, but I can see his agent just sitting in the room, Robert De Niro saying, "If there's anything that says pirate ship, you come to me,
Yeah.
okay? Anything." And he comes up to us, "That's good. I'll do it, whatever it is." And then he accidentally found himself doing this
it's like,
movie.
I got to dance in a dress, staring at myself in a mirror.
Sarah Michelle Gellar was originally offered the role of Yvain, but turned it down to spend more time with her husband, Freddie Prinze Jr. Oh, isn't that
Wow,
sweet?
that's the true romance right there.
They met on the set of Scooby-Doo, am I right?
I didn't even know
I
they
like to
were
think
a
so.
couple. But
Yeah, the Fred and Daphne.
Yeah, sidebar. That movie, I saw it as a kid at someone's birthday party as like a 7-year-old. As a 7-year-old, you're hooting and hollering, thinking that's the best movie. And it came out on DVD, and I convinced my mom, I said, oh, this movie is so good. She bought it, and she invited my cousins over, a whole family. I don't know if you've seen it recently, or it's
Scooby-Doo?
yeah, it's got a lot of adult innuendos because I believe Sean Gunn was a writer. So it's
Oh,
like
there
a
you go.
hidden messages as a 7-year-old, I'm not getting this. But and if you want, there's some pretty, if you just like go on YouTube and type in Scooby-Doo adult jokes or whatever, like there's compilations. Anyways, we watched this and invited, her friends and family, and it did not go over well with my mother, and pretty sure she ran back to Costco, demanded her money back. But I remember getting like a 40-minute lecture of how embarrassed she was, and that she would allow that I would recommend such filth, and that I embarrassed her in front of her family by showing it. And there's demons in our house. You know how it is.
You bring dishonor on the family.
Yeah, and the next thing I'm out
Oh,
in the
man, that's
rain. I'm
funny.
letting my reflection show. You know how it is.
Thanks for watching these highlights from our episode of the Stale Popcorn Podcast. If you want to listen to the full episode, click on the link in the description. Please like, share, subscribe, and if you do that with your favorite YouTuber, I'm sure they would appreciate it too. Thanks, and have a great day.